So this is a speed light. This is a Yangnuo YN563. It's roughly 100 watts, somewhere around there, and that's going to be typical for most of your speed lights, somewhere between 60 to 120 watts, somewhere around that range. Now this is a 150 watt continuous light. Now, when I put these side by side, clearly there's a size difference. The continuous light is much bigger than the speed light and it's more powerful. So when it comes to photography, this continuous light here should light your subject more than the speed light. Now, if you think that that's true, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is not. And when it comes to power with these, they're two completely different measurements of power. And I've touched on this in a prior video. But your speed lights and your strobes are measured in watt seconds. Your continuous lights are measured in just watts. So it's more of just a continuous power draw, where your speed light and strobes, it's power at a fraction of a second. So when it comes to lighting your subject, your speed light and your strobes are going to provide considerably more light than a continuous light. And it's crazy because look at the size of this, look at the size of this. But this is going to provide more light. Now, I can say that and you hear it, but I really want to demonstrate it because I want you to see the difference between the two. So let me show you. So we're going to start with the speed light. Now I'm just using a 20-inch glow deep para. So this isn't even a big modifier. It is single diffuse with the deflector plate in there. So the first thing I needed to do was figure out what I needed the settings to be able to get a black frame, because we want all the light coming from our light sources. So in testing that out, we need to be at 1/200th of a second at ISO 100 at f/6.3. So we're going to meter this light first. 4.5, let's go up to 1/8. All right, so at 1/8, at 1/8 power on the speed light, that gets us to f/6.3. So let's take that shot first. So most continuous lights, the power is in percentages. So it goes from 0% to 100%. So first I'm going to start off putting the continuous light at the same equivalency as the speed light. So the speed light was at 1/8 power. So 1/8 power on this light is 12.5%. So I have it set to 13%. So we're going to meter that first. And we get f/1.4. Now remember, our target aperture is f/6.3. So we're only at 1.4 right now. So I'm going to turn this light all the way up to 100. And I'm going to meter it again. So now we're getting f/2.8. So again, our target being f/6.3 at 100% with this 150 watt light, we're only getting to f/2.8. So to be able to get to f/6.3, that's going to be 2 1/3 stops. So it's a 2 1/3 stop difference. This is at full power. The speed light was only at 1/8 power. So to be able to have a continuous light that could light the subject with the settings that we have, we would need, so we're at 150. We got 2 1/3 stops, so we're going 150 to 300, 300 to 600, and then somewhere in there, 700, 750. So you get the idea of how much power you need in a continuous light to be able to match that of a speed light. So I know the marketing can be confusing. You hear, you know, an 8200, oh, it's 200 watts, 8400 is 400 watts. And then you see your continuous lights where it's like, oh, this is, you know, your aperture 120D, oh, it's a 120 watt light. This is a 150 watt light or a 200 watt light. And it seems like it's comparable. And you look at the size, this is obviously a lot bigger. Well, you can't see it in the video, but the continuous light is a lot bigger than the speed light. Yet the speed light, for the purpose of photography, is much brighter because the flash duration is shorter. So there's a lot more power in that small amount of time. So hopefully this helps illustrate the differences between the two. So don't be confused by the power of continuous lights. When it comes to doing photography, they're not as bright as you may think. And to be able to match the power of a speed light or a strobe, you would have to have a very, powerful continuous light. And that light would be big, heavy, expensive, and it would probably get pretty hot.